Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, the 22nd of September, 2014, and that means it's time again for Mailbag Monday. I meant to have, I've got at least now, it's crazy, something like 6 reviews in the dugout. I know I keep talking about this, but this last week, since the middle of last week and pretty much up through the middle of this week, I have been busy with the Fantastic Fest Film Festival here in town. Very exciting. It's the largest, I think, along with Fantasia in Toronto. It's the largest genre film festival in the country, and I have been attending that and being part of that since 2009. And so it's that time again, and so it's taken up a lot of my time. But, you know, it's always a really great, wonderful time of year for me. And not screening anything in it this year myself, but soon. But anyway, so that accounts for me just not doing a whole lot of content, at least as much content creation this week for the channel as I hope to. But, you know, next Monday, I think we can look forward to a lot of stuff. But I do have packages here for us. It looks a lot, but it's only half a dozen items. So let's check these out and see what we have this week, shall we? Okay, I have a Hachette package here, so we'll see what this is. While I am opening this, I want to give my best wishes for a very speedy recovery. My dear friend Sarah Chorn, who does the book blog Bookworm Blues, is going in for surgery this week. You know, very stressful time for her, so I wish her the best speedy recovery, Sarah. One of the very first videos I recorded for this channel, I was really nervous about doing a review video, and so Sarah came in and did a collab with me on it. We talked about the Mur Lafferty book, the Shambling Guide to New York City, and so that's still up. But that's me and Sarah doing that one, and she kind of helped me get comfortable doing videos, I think, here. So anyway, she's doing that, and I am going to. She's got a lot of guest bloggers and reviewers who are going to be on Bookworm Blues while she's sort of, you know, down for the count, recovering in the hospital. And so I'm going to be, I'm going to have a review up there on the 9th of October, I think, just to help her out. And she has a lot of other wonderful writers and reviewers who are going to be posting things on her site as well, like Alex Delamonica and people like that. So, you know, give old Bookworm Blues a look. And best luck, Sarah. Best of luck. Get well soon. Well, okay, I literally just had the arc for this in last week's episode, but here it is. It's War Dogs from Greg Bear from Orbit, and this is the beginning of what appears to be a military SF series that appears to take a lot of storytelling cues from the work that Bear has been doing lately, doing like novelizations for video games like Halo and what have you. And actually the premise of this novel sounds almost identical to the basic storyline for Destiny. So anyway, I'll read up on it for you here so you can see what it's all about. Okay, so it deals with the Gurus. They are a highly advanced species who brought amazingly useful and sophisticated technology to the human race. Of course, there's a catch. They warned of a far more malevolent life form beings who have hounded the Gurus across the cosmos. And the media have been calling them the antagonists or the antags, and they've already established a beachhead on Mars. For all they've done for us, the Gurus now need our help. So you get the general idea. So lots of shooting stuff, I'm going to guess, here in War Dogs by Greg Bear. And it looks like it's out now, or yeah, out now, here, in hardback from Orbit. And a Random House package. Well, all right then, here is another situation of arc to final copy now, The Dark Defiles by Richard K. Morgan. This is the 3rd volume in his series called A Land Fit for Heroes, which began with The Steel Remains and The Cold Commands. I actually reviewed The Steel Remains, probably not my favorite book of Morgan's. He does some interesting kind of screwing around with fantasy tropes in a bit of a jokey way. And it's got a good villain, but otherwise, I didn't think that it was anything super special. But there are some fans of this series, you know, again, this kind of grim, dark, epic fantasy. But the 3rd volume is now out, The Dark Defiles by Richard K. Morgan. Okay, there's a tiny little envelope from Macmillan. Okay, well, this looks awful cute and fun. This is a middle-grade space opera from the fine folks at Tor. It's called The Planet Thieves. The author is Dan Krokos. Okay, and it says, 2 weeks ago, 13-year-old Mason Stark and 17 of his fellow cadets from the Academy for Earth Space Command boarded the SS Egypt. The trip was supposed to be a short, routine voyage to log their required space-time for the summer quarter. But routine goes out the airlock when they're attacked by the Tremist, an alien race who've been at war with humanity for the last 60 years. With the captain and crew dead, injured, or taken prisoner, Mason and the cadets are all that's left to warn the ESC, and soon they find out exactly why the Tremists chose this ship to attack. And I won't give away that spoiler, which is right there on the back cover. Now Mason will have to lead the cadets in a daring assault to take back the ship, rescue the survivors, and recover the weapon before there isn't a war left to fight. So, yeah, you know, it's good to have books like this, aiming at this age group. You know, I think there's been a lot of curiosity. You know, fantasy is an easy genre to get new readers into because it deals with really universal concepts, you know, good versus evil, and you know, the hero's journey, etc., etc. But science fiction is an unusual genre that has its own language. You know, it deals with, many times, classic and universal tropes itself, of course, but it tells its stories in ways that are sometimes really only relatable to people who have a lot of experience reading science fiction. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of good on-ramp SF for new readers, and particularly readers of quite a young age. So, you know, it's good to see, you know, books like this and writers like this, you know, putting out new material for the middle grade to sort of, you know, help them work their way up, you know, so we could have some, you know, a new generation of SF readers who aren't just doing the usual teen dystopia stuff, you know, which I think is done. So here we go, Planet Thieves by Dan Krokos. And a package from the company that should be called Random Penguin, but it's just called Penguin Random House. Too bad. Well, all right, everyone. Here is a big old heavy book. It's already out in stores, but you know the name. The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. This was the author of Nebula Award-nominated Cloud Atlas that was turned into a film by the Wachowskis. And so this is you know, his new book, The Bone Clocks. So again, this looks like, you know, another very intricate narrative, a lot like Cloud Atlas. The Bone Clocks is a kaleidoscopic masterpiece that navigates between characters, eras, and realms of possibility to weave its astonishing spell. At its heart is Holly Sykes, who after a terrible fight with her mother over her boyfriend slams the door on her family and old life in 1984. But Holly is no typical teenage runaway. She is a lightning rod for psychic phenomena. The Bone Clocks follows the arc of Holly's life while an invisible war takes place on the margins of our world between a cabal of dangerous mystics and their enemies. Holly starts off as an unwitting pawn in this war, but by the time we find her 60 years later, as the world's climate collapses, she may have proven to be its most decisive weapon. So here we are. Apparently this one's already been long-listed for the Booker Prize, which is a major literary prize, so, you know, David Mitchell, you know, we'll see. Is this stuff just going to be critics' darling type stuff, or is this going to be like a good book that could appeal to, you know, a broad audience, and the SF audience in particular? We'll find out, but let me know in the comments. Okay, and here is another big old chunky hardcover package, probably a new Tor title. Well, it is a new Tor title, and it is The Seventh Sigil, which is the final volume in an epic fantasy trilogy by Margaret Weiss and Robert Kramis. Again, this appears to be a quite traditional epic fantasy, but if you like that sort of thing, that's great. You know, I think there's still, you know, should be a good, healthy audience for that kind of thing. 500 years ago, a clan of rebels was banished to the bottom of the enchanted world of Arion. Ever since, these bottom dwellers have sought revenge, and now they are waging all-out war on the rest of humanity. Their deadly contra-magic beams, destroy buildings and attack naval airships, and their demonic drumming brings terrible storms and disrupts the magic of the people and dragons above. The attack of their full contra-magic power will create a magical Armageddon. And so, clearly our heroes want to stop this. So, The Seventh Sigil, if you've been a fan of this trilogy, you'll be happy to know that the new one is out tomorrow in stores. The Seventh Sigil by Weiss and Kramis. And finally, another big old vacuum-sealed Orbit title, it looks like. Well, no, actually, I'm wrong. This is from Joe Fletcher Books, and it's Scarlet Tides, which, again, I have already done as an arc. I've gotten the arc for, so you will have seen that episode if you watched a few weeks back. And this is the second volume of the Moontide Quartet and the sequel to Mage's Blood by David Hare. And as I understand it, this series, these books are already in circulation out in the UK. So they're now coming out in the States. Scarlet Tides, Book 2 of the Moontide Quartet. And that's all we got for this episode of the Mailbag. Thank you once again for joining me. I promise, new reviews are coming. Lots of them. Many long delayed, but they'll finally get up here. Including my continuation of the Rogues anthology. That's been hanging fire. That mainly because of my dad's hospitalization situation, which, by the way, is getting better. Amazingly, against all odds, this man keeps staring into the face of the god of death and saying, "Not today." So, you know, well done, Dad. So anyway, that's going well. But as always, you know the drill. Fire up the comments. Let me know which of these books looks most interesting and exciting to you. And if you enjoyed watching, please leave a like, share the video far and wide with your SFF reading friends on social media, and please, above all, subscribe if you have not done so. That is what helps the channel to grow. Thank you all so much for joining me, and until I see you next time, happy reading.